Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi and that's a new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. This time we'll start to work on a new tutorial talking about fume effects and explosion effects. We'll try to create a desertic land and we'll add an explosion done using fume effects, and we'll prepare all the layer and all the passes we need, and we'll work on the compositing later to finalize the animation. So the first thing I like to do is to create the environment, and I'll try to prepare a desertic land really simple using mental-ray. Let's use the unit setup set to metric, and let's create for the moment just a plane, just to have something inside the scene, and let's do for something like that. Let's create the camera starting from the perspective viewport. So let's go inside the view menu, create camera from view, and let's go in modify, and let's scale just a little bit there. Show horizon, just to have the possibility to see the horizon there. Let's move it and let's rotate just a little bit, just something like that. And let's go there, and I like to scale it, let's say 20 times, and I like to go there inside the rendering engine, and we'll change the rendering engine to mental-ray. Okay, let's go there. We have the final gather, so for the moment everything is okay. Let's go there and let's say show save frame, and I like to select the camera, and we can go there, and now I'd like to add the daylight system. It is asking to use the photographic exposure, and we say yes, and let's create the sun. We can go there, and let's say lighting and shadows, enable other shadows. Okay, let's use the mental-ray sun, and let's use the mental-ray sky, and yes, we can use the physical sky inside the environment. And let's go there, viewport background, use environment, and display background. So we have the background there inside the viewport, and exposure control, and we can go there, and let's say physical basic lighting, daylight, and let's use 250 ISO speed, and then I like to move just a little bit the sun, and let's go for something like, let's see, at 17, and let's try to make a test render, and we can use the 900 and 400. Let's block it, and let's use 500 now for the test render. Okay, and that's our test for the moment, really simple. Now I like to use a bigger scale there. Let's use, for example, 100. Sorry, there. Okay, it seems we have enough space there, and we can go there, and let's assign a shader for the moment, and we can call it terrain, and we can assign it, and we can use for the moment a really simple arcane design, and we set it to matte finish, and let's give it a color like that, and let's close. Let's make another test render. Okay, and that's our basic scene. Let's go there, and I like to change the environment there. And let's go there. Let's see how it looks. You see, we can change a little bit the look. And now I like to use the Earth perspective, and let's see a distance rate, let's see, for example there 800. Let's try. Let's go there and let's say 800, and I like to add also some mesh just to be sure. I'm sorry. And let's rotate it, and then I can move this one there, and maybe there, just to have the differences there. Okay, and let's use more near distance, like this one, 250. Okay, we have more stuffs there, and I like to go there to change just a little bit. Look, you see the changes also there, and now I'd like to go there, and we can change the shader there, starting using the ambient occlusion. Let's see the scale, for example, for this one, and we can say, for example, 40 centimeters, and you see that we have something better there. Let's close it, and let's go inside the exposure control, and let's add a vignetting there, maybe less, let's try 10. Okay, something like that. Let's try to remove just a little bit of aids. Okay, and let's try to change just a little bit the hour, just to see how it looks. But I like to change also the inclination of the lighting to something like that, and we can go back there. Okay, okay, I prefer this kind of lighting. Let's work a little bit over the shader. Let's go at full screen, and let's start saving our scene in the right folder. Okay, and we can call it 3ds Max Tooth Desert Explosion. Okay, and we can call it there in the same way, Tooth Desert Explosion. Okay, we have the scene actually. Let's start creating a really simple file shader for the environment. Let's use a bitmap, and let's see if we have something inside 3ds Max that can be used. So under the right folder for 3ds Max, and let's go inside the maps, and let's see if we have something there inside the ground, and we have this one. Maybe we can use this. Okay, and let's remove let's see the map there, and we need to make a render. Okay, it's obviously really big, and let's try with 10 and 10, and we'll go with less blur. Let's try 0.2, and there we can go for a composite. Let's render. We see it better actually, but we need more repetition, so let's go for 30 and 30, and that's the actual look. I like to see not so much this map, so let's go for maybe 50. Let's add a new layer, and let's move this layer there. Okay, and let's create another stuffs there, and we can use, for example, a noise. Let's remove just a little bit for the moment this one, and let's go there, and I like color something like that, so we can say this one, copy, and we can copy this one there, and then we can make it darker. Let's try to render. Okay, we can go for fractal. Okay, and we can go for something more for the levels, and we can make it bigger, 120. Okay, and we can add this over it, and we can make it less visible, so 25. Okay, and we can add another layer, and let's try with something like a sand, so we can do it using a noise, and we can do it really little. Let's try with 6. Obviously now we see just this map, but we need it more little, 0.6. Okay, you see it's really little, and let's do it as multiply. Let's see if it works or not. It is not better, but maybe we can do it less visible. Okay, so we have just a little bit, and we can make it more visible working in this way. Okay, so you see we have more dots there, and then I like to see just a little bit another map over there, so let's do it, and let's say we are working with another noise, and this one is turbulence, and let's try with 200, and let's swap it. Okay, and let's do it with 8 levels, so it's really complex, and we can do it using the multiply, and we can do using the 35 for the opacity, and you see now it's really better, and we need just a little bit more this one, so let's go for 35, so see just a little bit more for this texture. Okay, and let's save, and now I'd like to go there, and we can work on the reflection, and let's say we have just a little bit of reflectivity, and we have a lot of glossiness, and we can use one map from this one, copy, and we can say that we have it there, and pass distance. Okay, and I like also to have a map for the bumping there, so let's go for a noise, and we can go for let's start with a turbulence, and let's see how it looks. It must be really low, the value, so let's try with 0.2. It's really low, just a little bit visible. Maybe let's try with 0.3. And you see we have some distortion over the environment. And let's add another layer over it. So let's do a composite, keep all map, add a new layer. And now we need another layer using the noise, for example. Or we can use maybe the cellular discard all map. And let's say 2 for the bump amount, so we have more visibility for this map. And you see how it looks. And let's say that it's little, something like 2. And we need to start rendering a piece bigger to see it better. Let's try with this one. Render at final res. Okay, let's try to have it in this way, and we have to add it there. So let's say 50, and let's render again. Okay, and maybe we can have just a little bit more bumping in general, so let's use 0.5. Okay, something like that. And we can see the final look using the a better anti-alias. So let's go there and let's see what happens if we use 1 and 16. Okay, that's how it looks, so I think it's okay for the moment. Sorry. Let's go back to 1, 4, and 4. Okay, and save. Okay, I'd like to add something over the background so we can create some really simple mountain. And to do it, we can use, for example, a plane like this one, and we can add more segments. And we can go there, convert to, let's do it from there. We can add a polyselect, and we can select just something like that, and let's do it less, so something like that. And let's use also the soft selection, and let's do it more. Okay, and let's go there and let's add a noise modifier, and let's work on the noise, and let's move also and let's move also the vertices. We can do it before this one using an edit poly. Okay, and then we can add also a turbo smooth there, and then a poly select. Let's move it, and we can scale it and let's see if we see it, and we can create another just a little there, and this one can be there, and we can change the seed for the noise to have a different shape. And let's remove the render area. Okay, let's save, and we can, oh sorry, let's render again. Okay, now it works fine, and we are not able to see something there because we have too much too less visibility, so we have to change it. And let's say maybe that we have you know that the scale is not so it's good because it's just little really little than we need. It's not a real scale, but it's not the most important thing on this project. So let's go for 500, and let's try to render again. Okay, we start to see something there. So we have just to move the other one more near. And we can try to render again. And we see something there. Okay, so let's close and let's give the same shader, but it will be darker. Let's call it terrain mountain. We can assign to it and to it. Okay, let's go inside the shader there, and we can add a color correction. Keep all map, and we'll make it darker. Let's see if it's okay or not. I'd like to have it more dark, something like that. Let's make the test little during the rendering because we don't need too much quality there. Okay, something like that. And I like just to make maybe to have just more changes all around, so we can add another noise there. Okay. After the poly select there, not over this one but on this one, so noise. Okay, and fractal. Okay, just to have some irregularity over the surface. Let's save the scene, and we are ready to start working on the other steps. Let's imagine that we like to have an explosion, maybe, sorry, let's try to find the right position, maybe there. Let's remove this one. Okay, and let's save, and this one will be the point where we have the explosion. So to create the explosion, we have some different stuffs to create. We have a shockwave, we have the fireball, we have the smoke, so we have the debris. So we'll create everything using fume effects and particle flow, and we can start using the shock to create the shockwave. Let's do, for example, let's go inside the particle flow. So we'll create a particle flow because it's more simple to be then change it, because we can change all the value for the particle system. And let's go there. Sorry. Okay. And we can remove this tripod, and we have this kind of effects using the particle flow, and we need to have less stuff. So let's go inside there, and we say to see all the particles, and then we go there, and we can, for example, say that we have the shock wave starting from the frame 10 and finish to the frame 11, and the position is right, but we like to have the starting point from the pivot. And let's try also to change the speed to icon center out. But it's better to use the random horizontal, and you see that's the shape we have. So we need more speed. Let's try 200. That's the speed of the shock wave. Okay. And let's say we have 100 for the differences. Okay. And let's say that after some frames, let's remove the rendering there. So let's set to off this one, and DH test. Let's say that after 30 frames for the moment we have the delay, so we have no more visibility for the particles. Okay, let's go for the delayed hole. So you see we have the particles burning, and then they go all away. Okay, let's save, and we call it PF source shockwave. Okay. Now we need to start creating the fume effects stuff. So let's go there, and fume effects, and we start creating the box we need. And let's see how it's big, the space. Okay, so we need to have it bigger. Let's say something like that. Okay, and for the moment we can stay with a big scale. So let's try with 8. Okay, and we need to add the particles as source. So we have to go there inside the helpers and inside the fume effects, and we have the particle source. Okay, let's select the particle flow, and we have the scale for the radius. You see, for the particles, let's start with something like that, and later we can change it. And maybe I'd like to remove the particles before, but we have to decide after the first preview. So let's save, and then I can go there, and we can go to select a few effects. Let's scale this one, and we can scale this one there, and also the preview Okay. Object source, let's pick this one. And generation, we have to say where we have to create the particles, and let's call it desert shockwave. Okay, let's start from frame 0 to 100, and that's okay. And let's go there and let's select other stuffs as the simulation. And we have no fuel, we have just smoke, so we have no fire. And just to start, we can have 100 iteration to be faster. And we can start creating a simulation just to see if we have everything okay to start. So let's make play, and you see that it is working. Okay, so we need for sure more frames. So let's go there, and let's say we have 300 frames. You can say they 300 and 300, and let's say again. Let's go to change the scale for the particles. Let's say 20, and let's use more speed, 2. Let's make again a test, and you see that we have more smoke because the scale is bigger, and then we can decide if it's too big or not. But you see that the smoke will go away in a fast way. Okay, let's stop it. And that's our simulation. Let's save, and let's create a light for it, and we can start using a standard light and a target light, and let's go for something like that, and we can move it to simulate the sunlight. And let's go there, we say shadow maps, and for the moment we have to say 1, and then we have the atmosphere shadows to have the shadows over the smoke and the fire. And directional parameters, we need to have it bigger. Okay, and we have to exclude all the other objects, so we have no lighting for the plane. Okay, and let's save, and let's go back there, and let's add this light. And let's see what happens if we try to render this frame. See, we have the shadows there, and the first thing we see is that the problem we have with the aerial perspective there, you see, from the image array. So it is simple to understand that we have to render on a separate path this shockwave. So we have to save our scene and save it on a new project as shockwave path, and we can remove the exposure control, Okay, let's go in the background. Sorry, no background, and there inside the environment we have no background, and this one is set to off. So let's see what happens if we try to render. You see that now we have the white color. So let's go back there, and inside the render, let's say that we have the cast shadows and the receive shadows. Let's go to scanline because we don't need more the mental ray stuffs. Okay, so you see we start to see the shadows, and inside the render let's change the color, but I prefer to have single color, so keyless mode, and let's go for something like that, but with a color similar to the desert. Okay, that's really better. Let's save. And I like the first thing to prepare just a little bit better simulation. So let's go there and let's change the scale and let's go to 4 and let's try to simulate to have a better quality. Okay, let's go just a frame before, and you see how it looks now. It is really dense. Let's see what happens if we try to change the opacity. Let's see also the preview, the opacity there, for example. Let's see what happens inside the rendering. See that it is just a little bit better, but I like to do some stuffs before, and I like to go there and have more vorticity, and I like also to add turbulence. Let's try with 5 centimeters of turbulence, and let's use more frames. Let's use 15, and let's start with a bigger scale, maybe a little scale like 10, and let's simulate. Let's wait for some frames, and later we can just see how it looks. Maybe until the frame 4 to 5 as the previous one. Okay, let's stop it, and let's go just a frame before, and let's try to render. You see that we have more quality than before. We can go there again, and let's see what happens if we have more visibility to the opacity. You see that it's look better and better. Let's try with 0.5, and you see that we have a dense smoke coming in front of the camera, so it is starting to have the right look. So we have just the basic layers to start working on. We have to finalize the shock wave, and then we have to add the other stuffs for the simulation. So for the moment, that's all, and we'll finalize the simulation for the shockwave on the next part, and we'll add the explosion to finalize our explosion test next time. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on MaxCookie to check for more tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.